back foot. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Turn your feet parallel, hands to hips. Take a breath and feel your body. Continuing to triangle pose, turn your right foot out, turn your back foot slightly in, and align your heels. With your hands still on your hips, engage your back thigh and rock your right hip so that your right hip starts to come towards your right thigh. As you hinge at the hip joint rather than the waistline. Both sides of your back are evenly elongated. Then right hand to your shin towards the ankle, or your hand to a block. Now, rotate your chest up, align your chin with your breastbone, and reach your top arm towards the ceiling. Feel the spaciousness of the spine, feel the broadness of your chest, and feel the reach of your limbs. Continue to breathe and feel the expansive nature of the pose and the expansive nature of your body. Take one more deep inhalation, reach through all four limbs with the same degree of intensity. Then take your left hand to your left hip, press down through your back foot. Inhale, come up to standing, hands on hips, feet parallel, pause. Turn your left foot out, turn your right foot slightly in. Rock your left hip towards your left thigh and feel the hinging at the hip joint. Both sides of your ribs are evenly elongated, so the left side of your back is not going to get compressed. Left hand down to the shin towards the ankle, or hand to a block. Continue to breathe. Gently draw the abdominal muscles in. Roll your chest more towards the ceiling and extend your top arm straight up. Feel the elongation through both legs, the elongation through both sides of the waist, and the reach through your arms. Draw one more deep inhalation. Feel the balanced work throughout your entire body. Then place your right hand to your right hip. Root down through your back foot. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Turn your feet parallel. And then very slowly, step your feet hip width apart. Keep your hands placed on your hips. Inhale, firm your thighs. Lengthen your spine and lift your chest. Then exhale, rock forward from your hips. Slide your hands down your shins. And then take your hands to the floor or to the ankles or to the feet. As you continue to breathe, sense your back body. If your lower back is at all uncomfortable, if you have a history of lower back problems, simply bend the knees and ensure that the spine feels long and decompressed. Relax the neck, relax the face, elongate the back of those legs to their maximum, but without strain. Remember, we want to coax the body into releasing, not force it. Take your hands to your hips, reach down strongly through your feet. Inhale, come up to standing, spine stays long. For Warrior One, place your hands on your hips and separate your feet wide apart. Turn your right foot out, turn your back foot in. In this pose, the back foot turns in at a stronger angle, about 45 degrees. Glance at that back foot, turn the ball of the foot in just a touch more. Now, rotate your hips forward, lengthen your tailbone towards your heels, and lift up through the front of your hip points. Retain that, bend your front knee so the front shin is vertical, and then judge the intensity in the thighs. You want a strong challenge, but it should be sustainable and non-straining. If you want more intensity, step the back foot further back. If you want less intensity, step in. Lift your chest up, elongate through your spine, and extend your arms up, shoulder width apart. Continue to breathe slowly, smoothly, and deeply, and refine the pose by reaching strongly through your back thigh, rotating your back hip slightly forward, and drawing up through your midline. Take one more inhalation, arms up, inner borders of the shoulder blades draw down. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Take your hands to your hips and turn your feet parallel. Turn your left foot out, turn your right foot in. Back foot, right foot. turns in 45 degrees. Rotate your hips, tuck your tailbone, and draw up through your hip points, your belly, and your chest. Bend your front knee, front shin vertical. Take a moment to find the stride that's challenging but non-straining. Reach your arms up overhead, arms shoulder width apart. Rotate the arms so that the palms face each other. Continue to breathe all the way down into your bottom ribs, all the way down into your side ribs. Take one more inhalation. Exhale, straighten your front leg, hands to hips, feet parallel. Turn your right foot out, turn your back foot in 45 degrees once again. Rotate your hips towards the front of the mat and elongate down through your back leg. Proceeding to revolve triangle pose, extend your left arm up overhead, and for a moment feel the connection of your left arm, your left ribs, your left leg, and your left foot. Take a deep inhalation. Exhale, hinge forward through your pelvis, and place your left hand on a block placed inside the right foot. If you don't have a block, you can take the right hand to the shin, but that bottom arm has to play a supportive function. Continuing, lengthen through the left side of your back, gently squeeze your right hip in towards your left hip, and turn your belly, ribs, and chest to the right. This is a challenging pose. Soften the jaws, soften the eyes, and deepen your breath. Extend your top arm up towards the ceiling and elongate both arms away from each other. Take one more inhalation, hugging the top of your thighs in as if they're squeezing the midline. Then exhale, release the twist. Press your back foot. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Turn your feet parallel. Turn your left foot out, turn the ball of the back foot in. Continuing to breathe, reach your right arm up overhead. Sense the connection of right fingertips to right heel. Then on an exhalation, hinge forward at the hips, right hand down to a support. Hand to a block or hand to the shin. Elongate both sides of your back, squeeze your left hip in, turn the belly, ribs, and chest to your left. Continuing to breathe, stretch the top arm up towards the ceiling and broaden your chest. Make sure that the neck isn't over-rotated and the chin is still in line with your breastbone. Take one more in-breath, hugging those hips in, reaching those arms out. Exhale, release your top arm. Press your back foot. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Turn your feet parallel. Place your hands on your hips and step your feet hip width apart once again. Inhale, reach down through your feet, lift up through your chest. Exhale, hinge forward from the hip joints, standing forward bend. As you release the arms, take them to your shins, your ankles, your feet, or the floor. It doesn't matter how flexible your body is, but be sure to support it adequately. So don't allow the arms to simply hang in free space if the hands don't come down. Take the hands to the shin so that you can relax more deeply. Now, take your hands back to your hips. Press through your feet, keeping your spine long. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Pause for a moment. Bend your right knee. Take your right hand to your right shin and draw the right foot to the inside of your left thigh for a tree pose. This is a challenging balance, so it's going to test your patience as well as it's going to test your skill in your body. Take your hands to your hips. Align your hip points by bringing your right hip slightly forward, and then strongly squeeze your standing leg and your lifted foot together. Place the palms together, thumbs on the breastbone. Draw the chest up. Firm your shoulder blades against your back, and now extend the arms up overhead. Inevitably, as you practice balancing, you're going to interface with imbalance. You might wiggle, you might wave, you might fall over, but make sure that the breath stays steady and the eyes stay focused. One more deep inhalation, gently drawing your right knee back. Then exhale, place your hands on your hips. Release your right foot and take a breath before switching sides. Bend your left knee, hold on to your left shin, and draw the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Place your hands on your hips and get a firm squeeze of your standing leg and your lifted foot together. Now fold the palms together, thumbs to the breastbone. Gently lift up through the chest, firm the shoulder blades, and extend your arms overhead. If reaching the arms overhead makes the pose too difficult, take the hands back to the hips. Know also that you can always practice this pose by using a wall. Don't let frustration take over. Take one more deep inhalation. Encourage your left knee to draw back. Then as you exhale, take your hands to your hips. Release the left foot and turn your feet so that they're parallel. For one more standing balance, we'll take half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Separate your feet wide apart, place your hands on your hips, and turn your right foot out. Bend your front knee, and just for a moment, place your right forearm on your right thigh, palm up. Now, shorten your distance between your feet by stepping your back foot towards your front foot. Shift your right hand forward onto a block, and then shift that block 6 to 12 inches forward just to the outside and in front of the right foot. Lean forward and simultaneously straighten your standing leg and lift your left thigh. Roll the left hip slightly towards the ceiling, turn the belly, turn the ribs, turn the chest, but continue to gaze straight down at the floor at an unmoving focal point. Feel the nuance of balance. Elongate your standing leg further, reach through the top heel, and now if you feel relatively secure in your standing pose, extend your top arm up towards the ceiling. Take one more deep inhalation, feeling the expansiveness of the pose as you reach through your limbs. Then left hand to left hip, bend your front knee, and slowly bring the left foot down to the floor. Inhale, come up to standing. Turn your feet parallel, hands stay on hips. Turn your left foot out, turn your right foot slightly in, heels aligned. Bend your front knee, place your left forearm on your left thigh, palm up. Step your back foot in towards your front foot. Transition into half moon pose by placing your left hand onto a block, shifting it 6 to 12 inches forward, and leaning forward. Simultaneously lift your right thigh and straighten your standing leg. Firm both thighs, rotate the right hip towards the ceiling, turn the belly, turn the ribs, turn the chest open. Even if the body wavers, keep the eyes still, keep the breath smooth and consistent. Continuing, extend your top arm towards the ceiling, turn the palm in the same direction as your chest. Take one more in-breath, expanding through all your limbs. Then exhale, right hand to right hip. Bend your front knee, bring your back foot down. Press down through your back foot. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing and turn your feet parallel. Place the hands on the hips. Keep the feet separated wide apart. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, rock your pelvis forward over your thighs and release your hands down to the floor underneath your shoulders or to blocks. For a wide-legged standing forward bend, inhale, re-lengthen through your waist, draw your chest forward. Then exhale, release into your forward bend by hinging more deeply and walking your hands back so that the heels of the hands are in the same plane as your feet. If possible, heels of the hands in the same plane as the heels of your feet. Now, many bodies won't be open enough to make this movement just yet. That's no problem. Simply keep your hands on blocks and your arms straight underneath your shoulders. Practice where you are and continue to breathe into any resistance that's present. Relax the neck, invigorate the legs, and slightly engage the abdominal muscles. Take another cycle of breath and feel the combination of effort through the legs, but release and surrender through the waist, through the spine, through the neck, through the face. Then if you walked your hands back, walk your hands forward, Re-lengthen through your spine, hands under your shoulders. Bend your knees slightly. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, keeping your back long. Step your feet together and step to the top of your sticky mat. Fold your palms, engage your thighs, and feel your body. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward bend, exhaling completely and letting go. Inhale, lengthen and lift your spine. Exhale, step back into downward facing dog. Just walk your feet back on your mat, downward facing dog. Take 3 cycles of breath. Feel the balanced effort through your body. The arms are reaching, the legs are drawing back, the spine's lengthening, and you're regulating your breath by breathing through your nose. Feel the activation of those limbs, the length of the spine, but soften the brow, soften the tongue, soften the mind. Bring your knees to the floor and transition into child's pose by releasing your sitting bones towards your heels, dropping your forearms to the ground, and letting your forehead rest on the floor. Take a moment, feel the sensation of your body, feel the sensation of your breath, and observe your mind state. Then, rock forward onto all fours and lower all the way down to the ground for a back bending series. Extend your arms straight back, reach your fingertips towards your toes, and rotate your arms so that the thumbs touch the ground. Now, press the top of the feet down, lengthen your lower back by anchoring your pubic bone into the floor, and slowly lift the front of your chest, slowly lift the front of your shoulders, and slowly lift your arms up. Continuing in locust pose, focus on your lower back, your mid back, and your upper back. Ideally, these 3 regions have the same degree of intensity. If one part of your back is overworking and one part of your back is underworking, you need to back off and pause. Continue to breathe. Engage the shoulder blades a little bit more strongly to lift the back of the arms. Take one more deep breath down into your ribs. Then as you exhale, slowly release. Cross your forearms in front of you and rest your forehead on them. Now take a slow, saturating breath down into your lower back, down into your floating ribs, down into your pelvis. Feel as you inhale how the spine elongates, and as you exhale how the spine deepens its natural curves. Continuing to cobra pose, take your fingertips in line with your chest, fingers facing forward. Before lifting up, get the fundamental actions of the posture. Press down through the top of your feet, tuck the tailbone, and hug your elbows in. Now slowly, lift the chest without yet using the arms. Feel your back body engage as it strengthens by lifting your torso up against gravity. Hug the elbows in a little bit more deeply, and then increase the intensity of the pose by pressing the hands into the floor and partially straightening the elbows. Make sure that the integrity and the postural alignment of the body is sound. Hug the elbows in, draw the shoulder blades down, draw the chest forward. Take one more breath, relax your temples and forehead, and then exhale, slowly lower all the way down, cross your forearms, rest your forehead. Take one more long soaking breath into your back. Then exhale, hands underneath the front of the armpits. Press back onto all fours and stretch back into downward facing dog. As you elongate through the arms, pressing the sticky mat down into the ground, and draw your thigh bones up and back, feel the spine elongate. As you create the sense of spaciousness in your back, relax your neck, soften your temples, and breathe deeply. Take one more inhalation, appreciating the decompression of your back. Then exhale, bring your knees to the floor, sit back on your heels, torso is upright. Now, swing your legs to the side and transition onto your back, knees bent, bottom of the feet to the sticky mat. Place your feet hip-width apart and walk your heels close to your hips but not quite touching. Now, elongate your arms along your sides and hold the sides of your sticky mat. Gently press down through the lower back, curl the tailbone just a touch off the ground, and then proceed by lengthening the tailbone higher, lifting the hips higher, rolling the lower back, then the middle back, then the upper back away from the floor. Tuck each arm under the chest, root down through the back of the arms, and then continue to hold the sides of the sticky mat or interlace your fingers together, straighten the elbows, and press down through your outer arms. Make sure that the lower back isn't taking the brunt of the pose and that the sensation of the back bend are distributed. To facilitate this, lengthen the tailbone towards the back of the knees more completely, root down through the back of the arms, lift your chest. Take one more inhalation, encouraging your chest and front ribs to expand. Then exhale, slowly lower down, upper back, middle back, lower back, hips to the floor. Place your hands on your hip points and take a slow, calming cycle of breath. Then transitioning into reclined leg stretch, grab your belt, straighten your left leg forward, heel on the ground, and draw your right knee into your chest. Loop the right arch, extend the right leg up towards the ceiling, and make sure that you use enough slack in the belt that you can completely straighten your top knee. Hold each side of the belt with one hand, draw your shoulder blades down away from your ears, and find a degree of intensity in the top leg that's challenging, but that ultimately you can relax into, breathe into, and surrender with. Continuing to circulate that breath, elongate through your bottom leg, spread your left toes, and spiral your left thigh in. Create a little bit more length through the top leg, spreading those toes, opening the hamstrings, lengthening the calves. Continue to meet this challenge of stretching your hamstrings with softness in your jaw and relaxation in your eyes. As you exhale,